We're here today with Judge Charles Brown, Judge of the Stark County Court of Common Pleas, and you've been a judge since year 2000, Your Honor?
2001, February of 2001.
And one of the most gratifying things that you've come across in your time as judge is the Reentry program?
Yes, sir. When I became a judge, people asked me, what do you anticipate is going to be the most difficult challenge that you're going to face? And what I told them was, it's what do I do with a person who violates the terms and conditions of their probation? My father was a businessman, and he didn't like lawyers. Of course, he had two sons, and they both became attorneys. What he didn't like was that he didn't feel that attorneys added any value to anything. He was a guy who dug limestone out of the ground, combined it with iron ore that other guys had dug out of the ground, and it was made into steel. So he felt that he added value. I knew that when a person pled guilty in my courtroom and I placed them on probation and I sent them out of the courtroom, I didn't give them a better education. I didn't change their family situation. I didn't get them a job. In fact, I actually took some value away from them because I put a sign on them that said, I'm a convicted felon. And it was going to be difficult for them to get a job. Also, I knew that when I sent someone to prison, it was exactly the same thing. I don't have any trouble sending someone to prison, but I feel that a judge can't just stop with sending someone to prison. So I talked with a friend of mine, Pastor Walter Arrington of People's Baptist Church, and he told me about reentry. Pastor Arrington and I decided that what we needed to do was to form a reentry court in Stark County. Pastor Arrington and I met beginning in December of 2004, actually, and then in September of 2005, we actually had our first reentry court, and we've been doing it ever since then. There have been more than 300 people who have come through the court, and during that period of time, we've been able to obtain jobs for people. The statistical average in the state of Ohio is that a person will, with 27% of people who are released from prison within 3 years will go back to prison because they have a new felony charge. So that's a 27% recidivism rate within 3 years. The Stark County Reentry Court Program rate of recidivism for that same 3-year period, people who get a new charge that returns them to prison, is less than 9%. So we feel that we've made a difference. It's not me. It's the people who work with reentry. We have a full-time coordinator, a full-time director. We have some part-time people who work for us. We also work with local businesses who are willing to take felons and to give them jobs. We've also been able to get grants so that we can supplement wages. Actually, we have a program through the Second Chance Act that if an employer will hire someone who is a convicted felon, then we will be able to give them the money together with all the withholdings, the FICA, the Medicare, all those things, and they will have that person for 90 days without any cost to them. Of course, we hope that after that 90-day period has passed, that the person will receive a full-time position offer.
Is that a state or a federal program?
That's a federal program. It's the Second Chance Act. It's a federal program, and it's worked out very well. Again, it's the people in reentry. It's also some of the providers that we've worked with. We've worked with Max Millander, who has Turning Point. We've worked with Bed Jordan, who has the Stark Social Network. And these individuals are a great resource. They're able to work with these people, and it's worked out very well. It has exceeded all of my expectations, and it's been a very rewarding thing.
What is the core funding for the program?
Well, actually, when we came up with this idea, I went to the other judges of the Stark County Court of Common Pleas and talked with them, told them what I would like for them to consider doing. And the other judges signed off on the program, and we actually use funds from our Special Projects Fund to pay the salaries of the director, the coordinator, and the part-time persons. It costs the Stark County Court of Common Pleas from their special projects fund about $137,000 a year to fund our part of the program. We have been able to receive, as I've already indicated, a second chance grant, and that's in the amount of about $67,000. We also receive a grant from the state of Ohio in the amount of $40,000. So the total cost of the program is $245,000, and then we have all that broken down in terms of how we spend that. $118,000 is salaries. All the rest of it goes for programs and for benefits of the people in the program.
And where does the money come from for the special projects?
Special Projects Fund is something that is authorized by the statutes of the state of Ohio, and it's something that the courts can do, adding on to user fees. It comes out of civil filing fees and things of that nature. We also use from the Special Project Fund money to do technological improvements. If you take a look at each one of the courtrooms in the Stark County Court of Common Pleas, it has a very elaborate sound system, also a document camera system. There are also 2 of the courtrooms that have video conferencing abilities. That cost the Stark County Court of Common Pleas in excess of $500,000. That was done several years ago. It all came out of the Special Projects Fund. It did not come out of the general funding of the courts from the taxes which are collected. So this all came out of user fees, which we were able to put into place.
Following up on your earlier point about this program being a value-added program, how would you describe it to Stark Countyans in terms of the value added?
Three things. First of all, it makes our community safer, because if you can go from 27% recidivism to less than 9%, it means that we have a safer community. So that's a benefit to us all. It also cuts down the cost to the taxpayers. It costs about $24,000 a year to incarcerate someone in prison in the state of Ohio. The cost of programs such as this, when you look at other service providers, cost of being on probation, community control, is about $8 a day. So you're talking about less than $3,000. And then the third thing is, it's for the beneficiary themselves. It's for the person who has returned from prison, who has decided to change their lives, makes them into a productive member of society. It also makes them a productive member of that family unit. So it would help in keeping their children out of prison. So the immediate effect is, of course, it saves all the Stark County residents because it cuts down on crime. Second thing, it saves the taxpayers money. The third thing is it helps that individual and it helps their family. So those are the three things which I think are the benefits.
Now, how does an individual get selected for participation in this program?
Unfortunately, you have to have been convicted of a felony and either be placed on probation, or you've gone to jail, be brought back, gone to prison, and be brought back on judicial release, or you have completed your prison term. So it's unfortunately the price of admission, or the way that you get into the program, is to have committed a felony, which is not anything that any of us want to do.
Right. But do all convicted Stark County felons have the opportunity to participate in this program that are released from state prison?
As a matter of course, anyone who is placed on judicial release by any one of the 5 judges of Stark County Court of Common Pleas refers that individual to the Reentry Court. I have also told all the other judges that we will take anyone that they've placed on community control, they've placed on probation. If they want to put them in through the Reentry Court, we will take them. And also, if a person is placed on post-release control from prison, then they're also ordered to go to Reentry Court.
Is there enough room for everybody in this program, or is there some kind of a delay?
Well, today we had 60 people. And we'll take anything. I'm willing to use whatever time it requires of me to do it. Everyone is very committed to it.
Right. Well, this is a program that Stark Countyans should be very interested in. Human beings have a chance to rehabilitate themselves, and people that you and the other 4 judges hopefully will not see again, as you say, on Mondays.
That's right. The way that I approach it is I have absolutely no problem in sending someone to prison. Doesn't bother me, doesn't keep me up at night. On the other hand, if a person has decided to change their life, wants to be a productive member of society, then I think the judge has a responsibility to do that also. They shouldn't have to keep paying for their mistake, nor should their family.
And do you think the program is accepted by potential employers as they get to know about it? And what is the receptivity factor?
64% of the people in the program have employment. Employers have found that these individuals satisfy 2 of their requirements. They want someone who will show up every day, and they want that person to be drug-free. And what I tell employers, if you hire one of these individuals, if you have a problem, you have a phone number, call that number. The person who picks up that phone has a gun, and they'll come and take the person out of your place of employment. The employers have had very good luck, very good success with these individuals because they will show up and they're drug-free. Every once in a while, of course, you have someone who abuses the thing. As you saw this morning, we had some people who were fired because they weren't doing what they should have been doing as employees. But you have one of these individuals who wants to work, and they make a very good employee.
I noticed in your exchange with persons that appeared in front of you this morning that you're really no nonsense, don't want to hear the excuses. So apparently you found that to be a very effective way of relating to these folks.
I'm a graduate of the United States Marine Corps. That's about the only thing I can tell you. And it works. I've worked with men all my life, and they respect someone who respects them, and they respect someone who will tell them exactly what it is, if there are consequences, good or bad, and that's what's going to happen.
Is there anything else about the program that I haven't had the wisdom to come up with a question on that you think this Stark County public would want to know?
I think we need to thank the individuals who work the program each day in and out. That's Terry Bell, who's the director, Jessica Hessedens, who is the coordinator, and then the various providers that we work with, Max Millender, Bev Jordan, the people at Goodwill, the Coleman Center, Urban League, the employers. Those are really the people who make it work. And the individuals themselves, when they see that there really are people who want to help them. We have to remember that many of these men and women really never had a chance.
Right.
And no one ever helped them. And they're very suspicious. And so we have to show them that we really do want to help them.